This is the mid-2007 MacBook, released on May 15th, 2007. At a starting price of $1,600, I picked this machine up for a mere $30 on Facebook. Nowadays, these machines sell for around $80 to $100 on eBay. So would it be worth your money to pick one of these older MacBooks up? Let's find out right after this intro. The model I have here is the 2.16 GHz Core 2 Duo with 2GB of DDR2 and the craptastic GMA 950 onboard graphics. Users have reported that you can upgrade the RAM to 4GB, although the max officially supported memory is 2. But I didn't have any DDR2 laying around, so I couldn't test for myself. Besides, even though the Core 2 Duo T7400 is a 64-bit CPU, the EFI on this machine is locked to 32-bit, so you would only be able to use 3GB of the RAM anyways. The display is a 13-inch 1280 by 800 glossy TFT panel. I'm not sure if it's an issue with my machine, but for some reason the screen doesn't get very bright, even at the max brightness. The battery is a 55 watt-hour LiPo battery, and I was lucky enough to get a machine with a low cycle count and the original battery. My unit still holds a charge for about 2 to 3 hours depending on the work you're doing. But most of these machines you'll find will have a bad battery, and the replacements are kind of expensive and nowhere near as good as the original according to the Amazon reviews. The Wi-Fi on this machine is pretty decent, reaching about 86 Mbps on my 200 Mbps connection, and the built-in iSight webcam is pretty bad, but it does the job. The port selection on this machine is very nice, with a MagSafe connector for charging, gigabit Ethernet, mini DisplayPort, FireWire 400, 2 USB 2.0 ports, line in, line out, and finally a Kensington lock. You also get an optical drive located on the right side of the machine. The keyboard has aged very well and is still really great to type on. The trackpad, however, left a bit to be desired. I personally prefer the newer Apple trackpads that have the button and the trackpad as one piece, making the trackable surface larger. The latest version of macOS supported on this machine is OS X 10.7 Lion, which is very outdated and there isn't a whole lot of supported apps left. The latest web browser that I could find is Firefox 48, which is about 6 years old. That being said, most websites I tried loaded just fine. There is a method to install 10.10 Yosemite on this machine, but I couldn't get it to work. I just got stuck in a boot loop whenever I inserted the USB. However, Boot Camp is always an option. I tested Windows 7, which ran a lot better than OS X and had much better compatibility. I also tried Linux Mint and Cloud Ready, which is basically just Chrome OS, the latter being the best performing OS I tested. Speaking of performance, simple tasks like basic web browsing or text editing are a breeze on this machine. Unless you get a page with a ton of ads and then you start getting poor performance. YouTube on this machine is an absolute joke, so if that's something you want to do with this machine, then I would recommend you look elsewhere. YouTube struggles at 360p and is even worse at 480p. Windows 7 helped a bit, but even then it was not a good experience. The only exception was Cloud Ready, which made it possible to watch videos at 720p 30fps. Even with the stock 160GB 5400 RPM hard drive, the OS is pretty snappy and opening apps is relatively quick. The CPU on this machine regularly reaches 70 degrees Celsius and the fan gets pretty loud. Here's a sample of what that sounds like. The speakers on the mid-2007 MacBook are okay. They don't get super loud and they lack any kind of bass, but they get the job done. Here's an audio sample. Keep in mind that the crackling you hear is YouTube stuttering and not the speakers. So that concludes my review of this mid-2007 MacBook. So the question is, should you run out and buy one? If you want my opinion, I would say no. Unless you want a cheap laptop for your kids or maybe a machine just to listen to your iTunes library or even just write text documents, then this machine works fine for that. But if you want to be able to browse the web, watch YouTube, or virtually anything else, then look elsewhere. My personal recommendation would be the 2012 MacBook Pro. If you would like to watch my review on that machine, I'll leave a link in the description. Anyways, if you liked the video, be sure to hit that button. If you think I should do anything different, let me know down in the comments below. If you like the content I make, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tell your friends. Until next time, later.